Hey, first graders, chapter 11 and chapter 12, we get to talk about shapes. These chapters are really fun way to finish first grade in math. And so we're going to start. It's a new unit too, as well as being a new chapter. And so we have one of our little stories at the beginning, one of the simple stories. And so the page we are starting with looks like this. It's called On the Move. And this little story will let you go hunting for shapes. Because you know what? We can find shapes all around us. And so in this picture, they drew a picture of a train on a bridge. We have some mountains and trees in the background. We can identify what the picture is and what the different parts of the picture are, but we can also look at the picture and see that each part of the picture was made of different shapes. Okay, even here where it says on the move, we are using circles to show the smoke coming from the train or the steam. Okay, the bridge, what shapes are used to make the bridge? We have triangles making the bridge. Where else do we have triangles? The trees, that's right. Okay, the trees are made out of triangles. Even the mountains are made out of triangles that just have a little curve on the top, right? But we can see circles not just from the smoke or steam, but also on the wheels. We can see rectangles and squares building up the train. Squares for the windows, rectangles for the different parts of the train. And even with a little imagination, we can see that I'm going to switch the color so you can see it better. This front part of the train, excuse me, is a piece of a triangle as well. Okay, so we have shapes all around us, and that is what this little story will help you see. Each page has a different type of vehicle, something that helps transport and move things, and you are going to be able to find different shapes on each of those pages. How many shapes can you find? And then at the end, there are some chances. Let's see. There are some chances for you to use basic shapes and create different pictures. So this one says, draw an airplane, use some triangles and circles. Draw a train, use some rectangles and circles. Okay, so you can try to build different pictures just using simple shapes. So if you have something you can use to trace those shapes, that would be great. Otherwise, you can just draw them freehand. Okay. Let's look. After you get past all that section, we do have our introduction to the new chapter. This is chapter 11. Okay, and we are going to just do a quick review of some things that you've already learned so that we are ready to apply them in this new chapter. Okay, so number one, a little bit of sorting. Number one says circle the objects that are alike. Same with number two, circle the objects which are alike. Okay, number three, you're going to want blue, red, and yellow crayons. So if you need to grab those real quick, just pause the video. Okay. If you're ready now, it says color the sphere blue. So which of these items would be a sphere shape? Color the cylinder red. Color the cube yellow. And number 6, again, some sorting. Mark an X on the object that does not belong. Which object does not belong? Okay, we've already used blue and red and yellow, so get a different color than those. Green might be a good one. Okay, I'm going to switch to green for us to be able to go back and check our work, okay? So number 1, which objects are alike? Well, we have a sphere, cube, and a cube. So the cubes are the ones that are alike, right? Number 2, which ones are alike here? We have a cone, a cylinder, and another cone. Okay, so the cones are alike, even though they're pointing in different directions. Okay. Number 3, I'm going to use the colors it tells us to do, so you can see if you colored it the same. Okay, if you did not color it the same, then just try to trace it or color it over it with the correct color. Okay, so it said the sphere was blue, so a basketball or most balls are spheres. Then it said to color the cylinder red, so that would be the soup can here. And then it says to do the cube yellow. Okay, so see if you got those same shapes colored the same way. If you need to make any changes, please do so. And then on number 6, which one doesn't belong? The big one. That is right. Okay. So page 631 now, we have visualize it. So we're going to use those vocabulary words and make sure that when we hear these words, we know what we should visualize, what should we see in our mind when we hear that word. Okay, so here they showed a ball and they marked it as a sphere because sphere is the real name for a ball. Okay, so they wrote in sphere, you can trace it. Okay, and that was one of our vocabulary words and a word you learned in kindergarten, or hopefully you learned in kindergarten. Okay, then over here we have this block. Looks like a party hat, doesn't it? Does anyone know the name of this shape? It's a cone. Okay, so look up here. We have 3 left that all have a C at the beginning. The cone, O, has the O sound. So there's our cone. Okay, this one right here, this block, what is that called? It's a cube. That's probably the one you know the best, huh? Like an ice cube. That's where they got their names. Anymore, they're not usually shaped that way, but they used to be shaped that way more frequently. Okay. And then the last one, it's the only one we have left, that says cylinder. This is one of those times where a C sounds like an S, right? Cylinder. There we go. Okay. So now that we have practiced using their real names again, we're going to do another coloring. And this time it doesn't show you an example. So over on number 3, it showed you an example of each of the shapes. Now it just has the names. So it says color the sphere blue, color the cube I don't know if that's yellow or orange. I think it's orange. And color the cylinder green. Okay, so give that a try. Pause for a second and see if you can get those. Okay, hopefully you have colored those shapes now. The sphere was blue. I'm not doing my best coloring right now. Okay, the cube is orange. And the cylinder is green. There you go. Okay, now you are ready to get going with chapter 11 and learn more about these shapes and their features, and it will be fun. We're even going to build some of the shapes ourselves, so we have our own building blocks of these 3D shapes. Okay, have fun. Happy